Hello everyone, welcome to yet another lecture on a very interesting topic of English language, which is Indianism. Now, what exactly is Indianism? We'll be looking into it in the slides that follow. So the first slide, the title slide mentioned that Indianism is unique English made in India. What exactly is this unique English that we're talking about, and why are we saying that it is made in India? We'll be focusing into these two aspects. And that will define Indianism for us. So Indianism, it refers to a word or phrase which is a characteristic of Indian language, of Indian English. What does this mean? It means that it refers to the way a sentence has been structured as if it was literally translated from Indian language to English. That means, suppose I have a certain, for example, if I'm going with somebody in a car and the whosoever was driving it, he or she stopped to allow somebody in the car. So the car stopped, and maybe the driver said to that person who's outside the car that okay, you can sit on the back seat. So this back seat, where has it come? It has come from Hindi. In Hindi we put it as पीछे वाली seat में बैठ जाओ. So this पीछे वाली seat is not the back seat. Back in English only means the back of a human body, or the back of any living entity's body, which covers the back portion, which covers the thighs, the hips. So this back, it has nothing to do with piche. If we have to refer to something with the meaning piche, it has to be rare. So this is what we mean by Indianism. As per our convenience, we literally translate Hindi into English, and that becomes Indianism, which is an incorrect way of putting things in English. So these the words that we're putting in, which are literal translation of Hindi to English, these often may be misinterpreted or misunderstood by native English speakers, because this is originated from India. It actually does not mean that, but then because we Indians have a habit of usually translating things from Hindi to English while we are putting it across in English, so therefore while we are making this kind of translation, because we are putting literal words that mean literally the same, therefore this kind of language may be very easily misinterpreted or misunderstood by people who are native English people. Therefore we need to avoid this. Yes, being in India, it does fine. We can use this language because every other person is also using the same language. But then, having said this, I don't mean to say that because everybody is saying the things incorrectly, it becomes correct. It doesn't. So this eventually happens to be an incorrect way of putting things in English. We need to we need to curb down this particular usage, this kind of a usage of English language, because this is not what English is. And that is why, because this is not what English is, that is why we're giving it another name, which is Indianism. Unique way of using English by Indians, which happens to be in a way incorrect, is nothing but Indianism. Now we shall see some examples of what exactly Indianism is. Okay, so we'll be taking certain phrases that are used in English language by Indians, and most likely we all of us at some given point in time would have certainly used these, or maybe if not used, we would have certainly heard these kind of phrases through somebody else. So the very common and cliched kind of Indianism is, what is a good name? Now what is this good name? Every parent who keeps a name of the child is, for that parent, it's a good name. By asking that what is your good name, you mean that maybe there are names that are bad also, which of course can be offensive. So you don't have to ever put it as what is your good name. Again, this comes from the Hindi translation, आपका शुभ नाम. There also it may be incorrect, but then having said that, English we do not have to use such a thing, because this is originated from India, and it, if at all be used, it can be only used in India, within India. Outside, if you go and uh, ask somebody's name using this particular phrase, what is your good name, people may get offended. Therefore it has to be what is your name, and never good name. Then maybe I went to a party last night and somebody asked me, oh, did you dance? I would say, yes, I danced on the tunes of this, which again is not correct. You don't dance on. On means on the surface. You don't dance on the surface of a certain song. It has to be to a song and not on the song. So I dance to the tunes of this, that, right? Now, as I explained, the word back, it means the back portion of a human body or the back portion of a of any living entity's body. So if you have to refer to something that is not in front, you have to use the word rear and never back, unless it is used for the literal back of somebody or of certain animal. So for example, the entrance to the building is from the backside. It is not backside. Backside means it has to be only the human body's backside, right? So it has to be the entrance to the building is from the rear and never backside. Again, if I ask somebody to hop inside the car and sit in the not in the front seat, it would be sit on the rear seat and not the back seat. This again comes up as a very common kind of a Indianism, usage of Indian language. This, if you're introducing your brother or sister to somebody, you would say this is my real brother or that's my real sister, which again is incorrect. There is nothing known as real brother or real sister, because that would mean, do you have any unreal brother or unreal sister as well, which would not make any sense. Therefore, if at all you're introducing your siblings to anybody, it has to be that's my brother or sister, because if the person is not your brother or sister and is happens to be a sibling, then it would be that the person is a cousin and never a real or a cousin, sister or brother. So it has to be with the blood related siblings. It has to be the same blood, of course, I mean with the same parents. It is brother and sister and never real brother or real sister. Again, this is a very commonly used Indianism. Suppose I'm going out to withdraw money. My mother asked, okay, where are you going? Oh, mama, I'm going to fetch some money from the ATM machine. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything, because the moment I've said ATM machine, I have made a redundancy. I've repeated the machine, the word machine, because ATM itself, it is automated teller machine. Now, the moment I say I'm going to the ATM machine to withdraw some money, it would mean I'm going to the automated teller machine to fetch some money, which again would be incorrect. So ATM, because M in ATM means machine, so you never have to put it as ATM machine. It is ATM only. And yes, whenever we are putting AM or PM with the time, if I have to tell somebody the time, and if I'm using AM or PM, I don't have to put it as in the morning or in the evening, because AM and PM already suggest the same thing. So the moment I say I wake up at 6:45 AM in the morning, it is incorrect, because AM means it is in the morning. So 7 AM, or I wake up at 6:45 in the morning. So either way around, either you put it as AM 6:45 AM, or you put it just as 7 in the morning, and never the two things clubbed together. Now, this one is a perfect example of literal translation from Hindi to English. If I'm sleepy, if I'm yawning, somebody asks what happened, I would say, "Mujhe neend aa rahi hai." And the moment I have to translate that into English, because the person maybe he doesn't understand in Hindi, so I would, if at all, I put it as "Mujhe neend aa rahi hai," because it is present continuous. If I put it as "sleep is coming," again it would be treated incorrect. The person would surely laugh at me. So it is not sleep is coming. Never it is sleep is coming. I'm going to the bed now. Sleep is coming. Are you inviting it, or using what is it coming? Walking, running, in a car, train, what? So it is an incorrect way of putting sleep is coming. I'm feeling sleepy would rather be a correct thing. Now this happens to be my favorite. Do one thing. Suppose I walked into the class and maybe I've forgotten to carry a marker with me. Now, and I want the marker because I want to teach, I want to write on the whiteboard. So what would I say? Maybe I will ask some student to go fetch it for me. And what would I say? Usually, what do we say? Can you please do one thing for me? Now, do one thing for me, or do me a favor. Do one thing. Now, what is that one thing? Now, keep noting. Do one thing, or I want you to do one thing. What is that one thing? Go to my seating place. Open the drawer, the keys to which will be in the next second drawer. Just pull out that drawer, take out the keys, open the lock, pull it, take out the marker. Please don't forget to lock it back. Put the keys in the same place, and then please get it to the class. Now I have having said do one thing means only one thing. Still one means one. Only a single thing. Now, when I was giving the instructions, because I meant with one thing, I meant please get me my marker. But then I have given multiple instructions. Go to my seating is one. Then the marker is kept in the drawer. You'll have to open the door. How will you open it? You will have to open the second drawer, take out the keys from there, unlock the drawer, pull it, take out the marker, lock it, keep the keys back to the place where the keys were kept, and then come back again. So I have given n number of instructions to the person to be done, but then I'm putting it as do one thing. Again, this happens to be a Hindi to English translation. Ek kaam kar do. Ek kaam kar do means the kaam is only one, because that is what I intend the person to do. But then in between, from the point that I'm telling the person to do that one thing for me till the time it gets finished, I have given n number of instructions, because that is not a single thing that the person is supposed to do. There are multiple things that are connected to finish or accomplish the task that I'm giving to the person. Therefore, again, do one thing is an incorrect way of putting. Do one thing, get me a pen, paper, stapler. Again, I've used n number of instructions. So could you please do me a favor is better. To say, rather than putting it as do one thing. This one, me and my friend, this is usually when we are not putting a lot of focus on the rules of parts of speech, we may commit such a mistake. Having said that, we'll just try to recall pronouns wherein we had discussed manner rule or 2-3-1 rule, which says that whenever you're talking about somebody, including yourself, it has to be first the second person, then the third person, and then the first person. Now for this, what are you doing? You putting yourself at the first place and then your friend. So which is an incorrect way of putting it. It will be termed as a grammatical error in the sentence. So it has to be always my friend and I are going for the party, went out for a movie or anything, but it has to be, please remember, 2-3-1 rule. That is second person, third person, and the last would be the first person, which is also termed as manner rule. Now, this one is very interesting, and we usually, in the teenage especially, we usually use it. There's a boy, there's a girl, and maybe the friends are saying, "Oh, he proposed her today." So this particular thing, proposed her today, is an incorrect way of putting it. Why is it incorrect? Let me read out the things for you first. How often have you heard from your college gossip queen that person X had proposed person Y? When we use the word propose in India, again pointing out an Indianism, we usually mean asking out for on a date. So if you've told that cutie in your office that you liked her and ask her out for coffee, don't go around telling people that you've proposed her. What you've done is, well, just asked her out for a coffee, nothing more. However, when you ask her to marry you formally, you would have finally proposed to her and not proposed her. So, whenever you use the word propose, it has to be he or she proposed to her, asked somebody to go out on a date, or officially formally propose somebody for marrying somebody. So it has to be proposed to and never proposed. Only proposed will not be used. It has to be followed with the infinitive to. Repeat it twice. Ma'am, can you please repeat this again? Or I have already repeated the same thing twice. Which again, repeat means to say multiple times, 2 times, 3 times, whatever. So repeat it twice, repeat again. Ma'am, can you please repeat this again? I could not understand in the first go. Again, repeat is to put it across again. And whenever you're saying it as repeat again, it means put it again, again. So you are using the word again multiple times. Or if you put it as repeated, repeat means maybe to say things twice. Again, repeat it twice means say things twice. So repeat again or repeat twice should never be used. It is only repeated. Or it could always be, if you were using, for example, ma'am, can you please repeat? Or ma'am, can you please explain it again, or explain it twice, and never repeat and twice, or repeat or again together. Okay, so maybe there is a student in the class who wishes to go out on a leave, and the teacher says that, okay, please put a mail to me explaining the reason why do you wish to take a leave. But put a mail where? Put a mail into the mailbox, put a mail into the car, put a mail in a drawer, in a cupboard, where? So this again comes up very unconsciously from the Hindi translation. एक मेल डाल देना. So डाल देना, but कहाँ डालना? लेटर बॉक्स में डालना है, envelope के अंदर डालना है. Where do you wish to put it? So this again is an incorrect way. Please draft a mail. Please put down a mail. Please write a mail. Anything, but not put a mail. Do the needful. Again, it's a kind of favorite of a lot of people. Suppose there's a notice that says that all the students are hereby instructed that each and every student will be reporting at before 9 or maybe 10 minutes before 9 to the first class, for the first lecture, because it starts at 9, and every faculty member who's supposed to take the first lecture is also requested to be at least 15 minutes prior to the time. Last line, do the needful. Now, this do the needful is an incorrect way of putting it. This again is a perfect example of Indianism. You don't have to ever put it as do the needful. It is very weird, and also it could be very offensive to a certain group of people. Suppose you are asking for somebody's help, and suppose I want money and I say that I don't have any money. I want it because maybe I want to get operated upon for something, and it'll be good if you can please lend me some money. And at the very end, I'm writing it as please do the needful. What is this needful? I'm in a way ordering somebody to help me, which is not correct. So this is something that can never be used because it is very offensive. Also, it is incorrect. So always it has to be do what needs to be done. Please do what needs to be done. Or you can just, if you're ordering somebody for doing something, it could be without a please, do what needs to be done, but never do the needful. We've already done this one while we were doing parts of speech, that you can never start any sentence with a reflexive pronoun, myself, herself, himself type of words. So the people who are in a habit of introducing themselves as myself Sakshi, myself Shikha, myself Shikhar, myself Vishal, no, that is an incorrect way. You cannot have the usage of reflexive pronouns as the first word. Either you can put them in the middle of the sentence or at the very end, but because it is reflexive, it has to be generated out of a reflex, right? Therefore it has to be always either in the middle or at the last. And while you're introducing yourself, it is not a good habit, if at all you are in a habit of using the reflexive pronouns like this, please don't do that, because that's an incorrect usage. And this again is an example of Indianism. Only Indians do this. You will never find this kind of a usage of reflexive pronouns outside India, nowhere outside India. It only is our way of putting things across. So it is always I am Anamika, my name is Anamika, and never myself Anamika. Okay, so do the needful and priority and kindly revert back. Do the needful, we've already discussed. Revert back. Revert means to come back to the original place. Okay, and revert whenever you're putting it as if you want a response or reply to some mail or something that you ask somebody to do, it never can be revert. Revert is to come back to the original form, place, etc. So revert back, kindly respond, kindly acknowledge, kindly reply would be sufficient, and never revert. And again, even if you're using the word revert, you cannot have the usage of the word back along with revert. Revert already means that there's a back included in revert. So the revert back would mean get back, back. Doesn't make sense. So do the needful would be changed to do what needs to be done on priority and kindly respond. Kindly acknowledge and never revert back. Revert back together cannot be used. Revert can be used, but never for giving any response to somebody. It only would mean to come back to original or former place, position, etc. and never for a response. It cannot be interchanged with the word response. Can never be. And this is, I guess, the favorite of all, the usage of the word only or itself also. I can always add the word itself here. For example, Indians are like this only. I live here only. I am from Dehradun itself. So this itself and only, these perhaps like these are modifiers, limiting modifier. They limit the meaning, right? While you're using them just to put in more emphasis, this is an incorrect way of using it, right? So you don't have to put it as we are like this only, or I am from Dehradun itself. No, itself and only cannot be used for such kind of usage. We are like this only is not required, right? So we are like this or I am from Dehradun is sufficient. Please don't use only or itself as the tail for ending any kind of phrase, which is you can always stop doing this from right this moment onward, because this is an incorrect way of putting or using these modifiers. And I'm sure this particular Indianism phrase would have been used by a lot of you while you were introducing yourself after finishing your 12th. Now, when an Indian student finishes high school or college or intermediate, whatever, you would suppose when you entered graphic era and I asked you to introduce yourself, you would have said, okay, I've passed out uh, from this and this school, and I passed out my 12th in year 2020. So this pass out means you've you become unconscious, and under what circumstances? Consuming a lot of liquor, you've passed out, you've become unconscious. So the moment you say I passed out a year ago means you were unconscious a year ago. Doesn't make sense. Again, what happened to you? Why were you sick? Would be the question that the person would ask the moment you say I passed out a year ago, because they would not be able to relate to that. Pass out means graduate or complete. So no, I cheated in the exams. So yeah, this means pass out is, it means to become unconscious by consuming a lot of liquor. So if pass out in college, you would be rushed to the hospital or brought back to the senses by sprinkling water on your face. That's a Indian soap style thing. But then yes, pass out would mean unconscious. You don't have to use that word for graduating or for completing a degree or a course or any kind of academic qualification. It has to be I graduated a year ago, or I completed class 12th or 10th last year or whatever, and never pass out. And yes, suppose you come to the class, I ask you that why haven't you done the assignment? You would say, ma'am, I had gone out of station. Now, station means what? Station usually means railway station. Station also can mean bus station, but can never mean town. So, please avoid the usage of station for town or city. These things are not interchangeable. You cannot use station in place of town or city. If you're going somewhere out and you wish to tell somebody that you'll not be in town, it has to be I'm going out of town and not never out of station. So I'm going out of station. It would for any English native person, it would mean that you literally are train or bus, and that is why you're saying that you're going out of station. Only a train or a bus can move out of a station, because for them station means where the rails or the trains or the bus halt, they stop. So it is never a station but a town or city. I'm going out of city, out of the town or whatever, but then never station. I hope this topic is as interesting to you as it is for me. We'll be continuing the same topic in the next lecture that follows, taking some more very interesting kind of examples under Indianism, the way Indians use English language. Uh, the only intent behind doing this here is one, yes, there are two intents rather. One, because it's in the syllabus and has to be covered. Two, which is more important than just being a part of the syllabus, that these are certain common things that we usually do, that we usually speak or write, which never are to be done that way, because this places the Indians in a zone wherein people can mock at us, people can make fun of us. Just to not have that kind of a reaction from somebody else who is not a native Indian, we have to be avoiding these things while we're using English, especially at least while we are talking to somebody who's not an Indian, who's from outside India. I hope this was very interesting to you. I'll be coming up with a few more very interesting examples in the next lecture. Thank you. Keep learning. Have a good day.